An introduction video for a new channel. The name's a little strange because, yeah, well, Google cut off the end. I mean, YouTube. It should be Non-Commercial Alternative. It is a quote of one of the Google guys, you know, back in the day when they invented the search engine and were getting everybody to become addicted to it. You know, the jargon was then their defense of their project was there needs to be a non-commercial alternative to the current search engines, you know. So that's what Google was intended to be, that's what it was sold as, and then it sold us out. Okay, sold us out big time. Did what so the subject's basically about the internet and the fact that there really needs to be the same sort of infrastructure we have in the real world. Public libraries, we have things out there that protect the public interest. We don't have those things on the internet. And as the internet takes over more and more of the public space, I mean more and more of the space, period, planet Earth, we, the public, have to claim some of that space. We have to claim some rights to some sort of protections against big businesses and you know, commercial enterprise owning the system. And so anyway, that's basically what's going to be argued on this channel. It's sort of timely now because YouTube, a derivative of Google, a property of Google, is now screwing with its search algorithm. It's now, I'm sure it always did it to some extent, but now it's gotten serious in doing it, where it is mathematically destroying the relevance and meaning of videos so they aren't accessible through indexing anymore. It's a bullshit move. Sorry, see right there, I just ruined this video. It's now been mathematically destroyed because I dared to say bullshit. I can't say that in words anymore. So it's might as well be book banning. There's no real difference, is there? I mean, they're basically just throwing books in the garbage or throwing them out the back door or throwing in the garbage can. Because they're saying, no, you know, at least they're throwing the cards in the card catalog in the garbage. And they're telling people, well, no, just go search the aisles and see if you can find what you're looking for. And this is important stuff. I mean, the internet was always built with way too much chaos. I mean, that's why there was never rules about things. That's why we're still getting spam email. It's because they didn't build a secure system. The web browsers have been, you know, gameable since their inception, because nothing about the infrastructure was built to protect people's interests. It was built to provide some mechanism for somebody to do something to make money. As soon as it became a financial interest, as soon as it wasn't no longer a government subsidized infrastructure, when money took over, then money started talking. And so the only thing that the only rules you're going to have, or you couldn't have rules that were going to protect people who were going to be paying the bills. And the spammers unfortunately do pay bills. They steal money and then they pay bills with the money they steal. So they built a lot of the infrastructure of the internet was built by liars and cheaters and crooks, and it's still in operation right now. There's huge industries devoted to nothing more than spamming and manipulating the search results of the internet, which is essentially is essentially manipulating what is accessible on the internet. And the fact that we have made that possible is that we've decided that, you know, it's all talk when Google says Google, you know, its name even, this, oh yes, we index a Google of websites, you know, and it's probably double Google now or whatever. It's all an illusion, because all it is an index. It's what's in their index. The internet isn't in the index, okay? And it certainly isn't going to be represented equitably in that index, okay? There's no, it runs on a popularity system, which is kind of ludicrous, because if you're popular, Google will make you more popular. That's the brilliance of it. That's the brilliance of the algorithm. It will find the popular and make them more popular. I mean, why does the public need that? Why do we as users of the internet need that? I mean, it's kind of easy to find the most popular websites. The ones that are hard to find are the most relevant websites. And the websites doing something for free. The ones that haven't paid, you know, have a bunch of other people put their links all over the place. So the ones who aren't going to extract money from us to pay bills, to solicit and put billboards all over the place, we're not going to be allowed to do business with that person, because that person isn't going to be in the index. I mean, that's how ludicrous this system is. And we really should be able to just demand our public alternative, our public library alternative to Barnes and Noble and the rest of the commercial enterprises. And it's just basic infrastructure. You wouldn't want a real world without public libraries or university libraries or school libraries. You wouldn't want that world. And there's no reason for us to want this internet, okay, without any alternative. So I'm not suggesting taking any of the commercial spammeroni away. Let the chaos rule. I'm just arguing that people who wish to be part of some other system, to invest in some other system, should be allowed to do that. It would run parallel, it would still access the same internet, but it would access it within a confinement of rules. And you know, we could have had that with the domain name structure. I mean, the com, the org, the biz, all these domain names could have actually meant something, but even that they couldn't do right. They had to shyster that, because then there was no distinction between a com and an org, and an org could be a com and a this. And so, you know, as long as you had no rules, you had no protections. The public couldn't be assured of anything. They could never be guaranteed when they were doing business with something, they were actually doing business with that entity. I mean, the only domain name that probably means anything is gov.gov, ironically. But the government won't step any further, won't encroach one other inch into the internet in the public interest. Because that's the bottom line is there's like I said, there's a lot of money to be made here. You know, you can see the inefficiencies on the internet are grotesque. I mean, instead of making things so much more efficient, there's these huge liabilities to doing business on the internet. You know, the commercial wasted marketing dollars, it's just obscene. I mean, the people are paying, you know, huge amounts of money for just to have somebody click on a link. I mean, it's just idiotic. And that money isn't, you know, it's not paid by magic elves somewhere in the sky or something, or trolls or things, or no, it's paid by consumers. We all pay the fucking bill. So, you know, so I ruined this video twice. You know, you know, deal with that reality. This is our money, and it's our money being wasted, squandered. All right, so if it wasn't for the fact that the government has prohibited states from taxing the internet, you know, there wouldn't be any bargain on the internet at all. I mean, it's the only reason why it's competitive is because of that exemption from sales taxes. And that's just really disgusting. I mean, go ahead, do a search on a zip code in Google, and you're not gonna get, you know, shouldn't it by now, 20 years after the invention of the internet, shouldn't we be allowed to punch in a zip code and get every store or every institution that has a web page within 10 miles? Because shouldn't we have all those relevant results pop up? But no, that's not what happens on the internet. Because it's not about relevancy, it's not serving the public interest, it's not serving any interest but the spammer's interest. That's 80% or 70% of the internet's business. That's what they make their money on. It's the crooks who love the internet, because it's chaos, it's Wild West bullshit. And we should have a right to be part of an internet where we can have some guarantee that the asshole with a web page is going to be responsible for what he publishes on that page and what he promises, and some accountability. Why not? It can be done without, like I said, if you still want to do business on the uninsured internet, you could do that. But people who want an insured internet, who want to invest a little bit of money, even if you had to pay $100 a year to be part of a, you know, an index, an internet navigation system that guaranteed you that these people were traceable, that they had to be responsible for what they said and what they did on the internet. They weren't just some anonymous coward bastard who just, you know, broke into your house and stole your shit and ran. I mean, but that's what we've got here. It's just so stupid. It's just such a waste of a resource. It's a waste of technology. They've just made it 10 times more expensive than it should be to do business. I mean, the whole idea of the internet is to, you know, to make the line between production and consumption as short as possible. And it hasn't done that. I mean, even companies like Amazon, companies born on the internet, are resorting to advertising, you know, with hard copy. You know, they're resorting to putting brick and mortar stores up. Because the indexing doesn't work. Okay, you can't just type in something, go to a retailer, get the best price, and make it simple. Because nobody can always obligated to be honest. No one's obligated to play by a set of rules, and there's just no point in having that. There's no point in having lies in the index. It's like if you did have a public library, you wouldn't let the people who are trying to sell their books or promote their books or have people read their books, you wouldn't let them write the card catalog. You wouldn't let them write the card and say on the card, well, yeah, it's the greatest book ever written. I promise you all the words are really good. They're all printed really big and nice and easy to read. They could just false advertise. You go to the book and the book ain't what you expect. And why should they be able to do that? Nobody would be allowed to lie. Oh, it's great nude pictures in the book or some other, just completely shyster you, confuse you, distract you, delude you with nonsense. And we wouldn't let that happen. But on the internet, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, everybody's just a fucking liar.